Good evening, everybody. My name is Bharat Solanki, and it's a warm welcome to all of you for being a part of Women Economic Forum 2016. Our today's topic is creativity unleashed: how creativity expression can enhance your life. This topic will be conducted by Lisa Beck and Charlie McNa and Zio Mara. So I would like to invite Lisa Beck to come here and present the topic to us.
I'm just going to pass the mic on over here.
We have our own little way things are going today. Okay, my name is Ziamara Fambro, for those of you who have not met me yet. But can you hear me? Is that better? Yeah. All right. Okay. So our topic is creativity unleashed. And before I get started on what creativity means to me and the best ways that you can cultivate it in your life, I really want to touch on the fact that creativity is often, it's often meant to, or people usually say it in reference to the arts. So when you're painting or drawing or when you're singing or in theater. But to me, creativity really does not have to be limited to this little box of drawing or any list that I just said. For example, I have a boyfriend. His name is Trey. He's a bio-cell major at SBCC back in Santa Barbara. And when I first met him, we were in junior high, and he was this cute little kid, on the school bus, and he had such passion for the human race and trying to figure out better ways for us to live and survive on this planet. He lost his aunt when he was younger to a brain tumor, and so one of the things that was really important to him was figuring out ways that we can manipulate cells to eliminate disease or things like his aunt had, like a tumor. So when he's in class, he's constantly thinking and not just thinking about how to get the best grade, how to get the A in the class, or what the teacher's rubric is for him to do best on the quiz, but he's thinking of different ways or of different lessons that he's learned from separate classes to manipulate those cells. So when he is in a research lab one day and when he is doing his job and he's on a career, he can think outside of the box. And that outside of the box is his creative unit. And to me, what that is knowing his true self. So I'll sing in the shower, and I'm a musician, and that's how I express my creativity and my light. But, and he may sing in the shower and have and express himself that way. But if he was not being true to his scientific self, his real creativity could not shine. And when I see that creativity inside of him, it's a beautiful expression of himself. And not only does he use that creativity for science and to what he's doing with his life to help the human race, but he also uses that scientific creativity to express his love for me. So for example, we're a little cheesy. After 6 years, you kind of need to be to spark the flame. So he'll tell me things like, Ziamara, I love you more than all the cells in the human body. And I think that's really beautiful because there's so many, he's always talking about how he's like, look at this one little rock. Like it would take your whole life and beyond that to count all the cells just in that one rock. And for him to just talk about that casually throughout his life and then to say that he loves me more than all the cells in the human body, that's his creativity shining to show me how much he cares about me. And that is beautiful, because then I'll turn around and I'll say, well, I love you more than all the music notes in every song in the world. And then he thinks, wow, that's awesome, because I know how much you love music and you enjoy it and how much you study it. And that is my creative side. I have multiple, as many people do. Music is my outlet, like many have. I have a few great examples of how music can be a creative outlet to do multiple different things. Show of hands, does anyone know who India Ari is? Yes. Her song, I Choose, is one of the most beautiful songs I have honestly ever heard. It's, to me, let me get the lyrics up really quickly. To me, it's like she wrote down a diary of what's going on within, her true journey, her self-path, what's happening now. And then she shared that because she realizes that other women her age or anywhere in between may be going through the same things. So when she uses this creativity, what she is doing is connecting people in a way that she knows best, and it works. Because she is so talented, because she knows her true self, her creativity shines. And in this song here, I'm going to sing for you just a little bit to show you my creative side. Let me. I've pinched a fork in the road of my life. Ain't nothing gonna happen unless I decide and I choose to be the best that I can be. I choose to be courageous in everything I do. My past don't dictate who I am. I choose, yeah. And thank you. That song really speaks to me for multiple reasons. When I get stuck and I'm kind of in the midst of agony, as we all get, it's one of those songs that makes me tap back into my creative self. So that's all about, obviously, how she chooses to live her life, and she will choose to do it in the best way possible. And it's funny because she is doing it in the best way possible when she expresses herself through something so beautiful as music. And she goes on further to talk about how God has given her this gift, and that's all her. That's all. She's expressing her love for God she believes in. She's expressing her love for herself, and it doesn't, like I said earlier, need to be limited to a musical aspect or an art aspect. Like, for example, my boyfriend Trey, it's a scientific aspect of creativity. Bring this back up. I have also learned that there's different people that can inspire you to bring out different sides of creativity within you. Like, for example, the lovely ladies that are in this crowd. Many of you have, if you've talked to me and met me throughout these past few days, have inspired me to find new ways to access creativity in me. So I literally have thought about, what am I good at? What's beautiful within me, and how can I tap into that? And many people have told me, Diamara, your philosophy of life is beautiful, and the way that you feel and your passion is so expressive. That's something that you're noticing is creative about me. So what I want to do is figure out a way to share that and give that back, and to constantly try and draw out the creativity in other people so that they can do the same thing, reflect on themselves, and then give it back out to the world. So I have decided July 1st will be my launching date for this, to open a YouTube channel that you all are welcome to subscribe to. It will be called Zia Later, and it's going to be an expression, my creative way, to show people how to love themselves and the world around them. And I am going to go even further and make sure that I'm not limiting it to my views, and have interviews of people from around the world. And now that I am lucky enough to be connected with many beautiful people from around the world due to this All Ladies League forum, I can connect with these women, also with people, men and women alike, that I've met back home in Santa Barbara. And I'm excited to get different and creative outlooks on how we can enhance the world around us. So Zia later will be my creative side and way to do this and to express my love for the world. And I invite any of you, if you're interested, to give me your information so that I can use you and your creative side and your beauty to express that through my channel, because it's not just one person, and creativity is all of us. And now that I have shown what my creative outlook is on life and what I believe is the best way to show your creativity, I'd like to hand it over to Charlene.
Thank you, Xiomara. That was really beautiful. My name is Charlene Macharia, and just an introduction to all of us. We are all from Santa Barbara, California, and we met at different times. I met Xiomara on a bus last year. So one bus conversation can give you like a really good friend that you get to travel with around the world. And then I met Lisa earlier this year, and together with Tia in the back, we're 4 women from Santa Barbara, California, and we're all really excited to be here. So yeah, I'm also gonna just share what creativity means to me and also try to engage you all in a small activity in a few minutes. So if you can remember back to when you're like 3 years old or when you're younger in life, when I think of creativity, I think of a child who's just free and uninhibited. So kids, what they learn first is through the arts. They like to draw, color, they like colors, sing, whether or not they're hitting the notes, you just belt it out. And you just encourage that, and it's like, yeah, that's great. And people encourage that, like, oh, my niece is singing, like, I'm gonna spur her on. But when you grow older, just different people, like, you don't sound good, like, don't do that, you're not good at that. But okay, making it, just bringing it back to me, when I was younger, I used to always just speak my mind, and people were like, oh, that's so cute, she's so funny. But the older I got, it's like, okay, that's rude, like, you're not. Or just speaking what I thought, or what I thought, whether or not it was supporting something or being against something that I thought was wrong, it wasn't seen as cute anymore. It was seen as, yeah, you're being rude, you're challenging like you're meant to just be silent, and especially as a woman, because I think girls and boys have a lot more freedom when they're younger, but then especially when they start growing up, you see just the disparity in the genders, inequalities. So for me, growing up, I was just more free, and then slowly by slowly, I started listening to the voices of the world around me, like, no, you're not meant to be speaking up. And so I started it was a slow fade of just not expressing myself, not speaking up, and yeah, not really expressing myself, not just through language, but through words, but also through other forms of expression. And it came till my time in college. I moved from Kenya. I grew up in Kenya for 16 years. Then I moved to America with my family. And it got to a point in my college career that things were not going like too well academically. And at that point, my academics was the only thing that I was really holding on to, until my sophomore year, when everything was just all things fell apart. And it actually ended up being a really great blessing in my life, because it made me reassess my whole life. And during that time, I remember, how many people have watched The Lion King? It's like a classic. So through The Lion King, I felt like God was speaking to me through the scene that Mufasa, okay, he was already dead and he was a ghost, and he appeared to Simba in like this cloud, and